Did I ever tell you guys about the time I broke my leg? I lost my glasses and I fell into a well because I couldn't see that well. I mean, but okay, one more time around on this lesson. It's still lesson 2, but it's 2B, so, or not 2B. It's up to you. That is the question. Now, let's look at what we're doing today. Today, we're going to finish some of the things that we did not finish in the earlier lesson, like the launch activity, the quick write, and the evidence log. Okay? So let's go over the launch activity first. And this is something you'll actually do with not only yourself, but another student and another group as well. So if you'll turn in your textbook to page 8, that is page 8. And on page 8, you'll see something called the launch activity near the bottom. Go ahead and follow along with me as I read, because I'm reading it here from the screen. You can read it from your book. All right, so this launch activity, you're going to create a timeline. Consider this statement. The journey into adulthood is marked by life-changing events and observations. Life-changing events and observations. Work with your class to complete the following activity. Now, we're not going to work with the whole class. You're just going to work with you, a partner, and then another group of 2. So it'll be 4 of you all together. With your classmates, brainstorm for and list milestones that people experience. Milestones may include sports events, social or religious events, or academic or work-related events. So keep adding a lot. I mean, you should have a lot of milestones on here, maybe 15, 20, maybe more. I mean, if you start as being a baby, there's birth, then there is laughing and giggling, then there's crawling, then there's walking, then there's eating food. There's all kinds of things, right? Learning how to run, learning how to jump rope for the first time. So these kind of like big milestones. I don't know if jump roping's a big milestone, but riding your bike sure is, okay? Let's look here. After listing types of milestones, take turns with the other students to put a star next to each of the 5 they deem most important. Now, you may have a different 5 from your partner, but you'll just take turns putting stars down so you'll get an idea of which are the most important. And then finally, you're going to work with the class to create a timeline of the chosen milestones. Are the milestones scattered, or do they seem to occur in a specific time of life? Okay, so you'll put like birth here. Well, let's see, left, right. Birth here and death here. Okay, so we'll say 0 years old to, 80 or 100 years old. And you're going to have to divide up that timeline. You got to cut it in half. 50's in the middle or 40's in the middle, depending on what you do. 20 is in the middle of that. You're going to have to actually make a little timeline. So let me give you an example here. Oh, this from last time. Erase. So if I were to make a timeline here, smaller, here we go. I would draw myself a line, and I'd put 0 here, because this is birth. And then I'd put 80 here, because that's probably about the average age. I know people live longer, some people live shorter. So right in the middle is 40. Then what goes here? You're right, 20. 20. Then right here is what? 10. You're 10 years old. Okay, you get it. 10, 20, 30. And you'll just make this number line like this, okay? And then you're going to plot the events. So, born. Okay, here's one. Birth. And you're going to write birth right here with a little arrow going to it. Yours is going to be much neater. And then walking. So walking happens right about here. Riding your bike. Riding your bike probably happens about here. 7 years old maybe. Maybe 5 for some of you. So you'll just plot on this line where these big milestones are. Okay? I want you guys to work on that. It should take you a little while. So pause the video, come back when you have all of that wonderful thing done. Pause it. Okay, you're coming back and you are done with all 3 bullet points on page 8. Okay? These are the 3 things you needed to do. You are done with all of them. If you're not done with all of those bullet points, pause again. But you're done. Okay, you're done. We're going to move on to the quick write now. And as you can see in your textbook on page 9, up at the very top, that's what you're going to be working on. Boom. This is a review for yourself to look back at what we've done in the last, this is the third, technically second lesson, but looking at what we've done so far, consider the class discussions, presentations, the video that we watched, the launch text we read, think about the prompt, even think back to that video of the bullet ant gloves. You remember the bullet ant gloves? Woo! Intense. But think about all that and record your first thoughts here on this prompt. This is not an essay, okay? Don't stress too much about it. You need to do it, and you need to do a good job, but I'm not grading this for, does it have evidence? Does it support evidence? That's not what this is. This is for you to write down your first thoughts on this prompt to begin thinking more about these topics, okay? So, what rite of passage has held the most significance for you or for a person you know well? So far in your life, what have you experienced that was that was the most significant thing? I think our author here of Red Roses, find the author. Oh, the author's not listed. Why would they do that? Is she listed? You guys got to find out. Oh, I think it's the, I know who it is. It's a secret. I'll have to tell you later. But yeah, the author of this article, or of this narrative, her coming of age, her rite of passage was this instance with the flower. And so you may have a similar story that's happened to you, or maybe you actually had a ritual. Like maybe you went through catechism as a Catholic, or maybe you went through your first time you killed a deer with your grandpa or something. I don't even know what. But it could be more of a ritual, or it could just be an experience you had that really marked you and said, no, I'm not so much of a little kid anymore, and now I'm growing up. So go ahead and write on that, and come back here once you have that written. Pause the video. Okay, we draw near the end. Quick write is done. Your evidence log for rites of passage. Also look on page 9 at the bottom. And you should be filling this out on your worksheet. You should have that worksheet in front of you. And review the quick write and summarize your ideas in 1 sentence. Okay? To record in your evidence log. Then record the details from Red Roses that provide insights about rites of passage. After each selection, use your evidence log to record the details you gather and the connections you make. This graphic shows what your evidence log looks like. Well, so you have it here. But the importance of this is that you're taking the most important notes of the notes you've taken. You've taken notes, and now you're taking the most important of your notes and putting it down into the core of what you need to remember. Okay, finish that evidence log. Pause the video. Come back when you're done. All right. Did it. You got it all done. Simple. Simple today, right? You got your launch activity done. Your quick write is done. And your evidence log is done. Whoo! We just finished our first introductory section to the textbook. You guys are doing great. Give me a high five. Just kidding. It's a screen. Don't break your screen. I'll see you guys later.